Welcome to Flexibility and Recovery Day. This is your chance to actively recover, build a little bit more mobility in your body, and get your body primed for another week's worth of workouts. Congratulations, you've made it all the way to day 7. I'm gonna take you through some stretches and some mobility exercises that I like to use as a doctor of physical therapy with my bands that I work with, drum corps, and patients. Go ahead and lie down on the ground. We're gonna start with what is called the good morning stretch. You're gonna reach up, arms overhead, feet pointed long ways down, trying to lengthen your body out as much as possible. Focusing on taking deep breaths in and big exhales out. You can do this with eyes closed. Allow your belly to rise when you inhale and fall when you exhale. If you're breathing through your diaphragm, you should see the ribs in the belly rise and fall, and the breathing to come through that deeper abdominal area rather than tensioned breaths through your upper back and shoulders. After that, I want you to put your arms out to the side like your body is in the letter T, and then you're going to bend your knees up. We're going to do something called lower trunk rotations. This is going to help you loosen up your low back. You're going to rock your knees from side to side like windshield wipers and go back and forth at your own pace. Keep your shoulders anchored to the ground as you do this. The pelvis can roll with you. So my hips and pelvis are rotating to the side that my knees are taking them. My low back is completely relaxed, and I can feel it stretch out in some of those low back muscles. Now, at any point in this video, you're welcome to pause it if there's a stretch that you want to continue doing. This day is for you to progress at your own pace. Now I'm going to come back to the center, and I'm going to give my knees a big bear hug. This is called the double knee to chest stretch. I'm focusing on my breathing. As I exhale, I'm relaxing my low back into the ground. Take your time with all of these stretches and allow your body a chance to rest and recover. If you've been dealing with any low back stiffness or soreness, this is a great one to do, especially those on drumline who carry around heavy instruments. This is a great go-to stretch to help after rehearsals. Now from here, we are going to do a piriformis stretch. That's a deeper hip rotator muscle. You're going to crisscross your legs, and I'm going to pull my opposite leg up off the ground, putting my hands behind my thigh, and I'm rotating the hip through here. I feel it stretch back towards your sits bones on the back side of your hip. That's how you know you're doing it right. If you need to add a little bit extra pull where you're taking this side towards your chest, you can. So I'm using that lower leg as leverage to be able to get a deeper stretch. Color guard especially benefits from this one to help gain flexibility into turnout. I'm going to lower it. We're going to switch sides. I'm going to crisscross over the top, putting my ankle bone on top of my leg, putting my hands behind my thigh, and pulling up. You should feel a deep stretch in the back of your glutes. From here, we're going to come up. I'm going to go into a kneeling pose. We're going to work on hip flexors and hamstrings. Before we do any stretching, I want you to identify where your pelvic bones are. Your pelvic bones go all the way around your body. They're 360 degrees, and almost envision them being like a bowl. We're going to tilt that bowl into a neutral position, so don't let the bowl be tilted forward. You don't want your belly button going too far forward. Pull your belly button in. Keep that bowl centered here. As you keep it centered, we're going to lean, rock, taking your pelvis, tuck your tailbone underneath you. Feel like you're taking your tailbone or your pelvis towards the front heel. As I do that, I'm going towards my right heel. I feel it stretch already in my left hip flexor. Your hip flexors are down, yes, into your hip and on your femur here, but they also go through diagonally through your pelvis and attach into your lumbar spine or your low back. If you maintain this proper pelvic position, keeping your belly button in tight, you will feel that hip flexor stretch without having to go very far. So we're not doing this. This is not a deep runner's lunge type of hip flexor stretch. You can actually get those deeper hip flexors stretched without really having to go that far. Then I'm gonna rock back and alternate, stretching my hamstrings. As I rock back, I can feel this in the back of my thigh. That's my hamstring muscle. You're welcome to prop your leg out and straighten it out and flex your foot if you want to. If you flex your foot, you're probably gonna feel a little lower at the top of your calf and back of your knee. Your calf muscle does cross the back of the knee joint. I'm gonna alternate. I'm gonna go back into the hip flexor stretch, taking my pelvis forward towards the heel that's in front, holding that until I feel like I've gotten a good stretch there. And then we're gonna rock back. I'm gonna do this keeping my foot anchored to the ground here. I can feel that stretch in my hip or in my hamstrings a lot quicker when I'm tilting my pelvis back now. So I'm tilting the pelvis and rolling down, and I feel that restriction here in the hamstrings. I'm gonna go ahead and switch. I'm going left foot in front now. First, find your pelvic angle here and the rotation of your pelvis. Keep the pelvis in neutral. And then you're just gonna go forward until you feel that stretch in the top of your hip flexor. I'm gonna hold that. You may even want to align this with your breathing. As you exhale, try to get a little bit deeper into the stretch without sacrificing your low back and pelvis posture. Now I'm gonna rock back. I feel that stretch in the back of my hamstrings. Alternate those two at my own pace. Again, if you need to pause the video so you can hang out in one stretch or another for a little bit longer, that's totally fine. After rocking between this kneeling hip flexor and hamstring stretch, we're gonna take it down into pigeon pose. So I have hands down below me. I'm taking my bottom knee across, my foot and ankle are going across. And at first, I'm just staying extended on my arms here until I get comfortable there. And then the more depth or the deeper the stretch you want to go, the more you can lower yourself down onto elbows or even lie totally flat. And some who are more flexible may want to go all the way down till they feel that deeper stretch in the back of the hip. And take your time here, taking some big inhales and exhales to allow you to get further into the stretch. I'm going to come back out of that. We're going to switch sides. I'm going to take the left leg across, rotating the hip joint, taking the left ankle across in front of my right thigh. And now I'm just trying to sit down like I'm sitting my left hip towards my back pocket. And you're gonna feel that stretch very similar to where we felt that piriformis stretch a little bit earlier. And then at your pace, you can choose to lower it down. And if you wanna go all the way, take a couple deep breaths and allow yourself to sink into that position. From here, I'm gonna come up. We're gonna go through child's pose. So you're gonna have your knees apart, rock back, take your bottom back to your heels, and rest down in that position. Allow this stretch to decompress your spine so you should feel like you are separating from your pelvis to your rib cage. You're allowing your low back to stretch out. You can also get a lat stretch right through here in these large back and shoulder muscles by reaching your arms forward in front of you. If you want an extra stretch on the back of your shoulder, you can take one hand and thread the needle underneath, and then allow yourself to fall forward on top of that shoulder, stretching the back of the shoulder out. palm stays facing the sky. Then at your pace, you would switch and do the opposite palm through, facing the sky, stretching the back of the shoulder. We'll come back up, and we're going to go into upward dog. Stretching your abdomen out. Reaching up. We're not sinking down into our shoulders. We're pushing through our hands here. And feel that good deep stretch. And then at your pace, rock back. I'm going to go into more of a downward dog pose here. And I like to alternate taking each heel to the ground. Again, this is a mobility routine. I'm by no means a yoga instructor. We're just doing these more as mobility exercises, trying to find a good stretch to loosen you up and help your body recover. After downward dog, we're going to come back up, shake it out, and go down into a forward fold and just hang there and let your body decompress for a minute. You feel this stretch in the back of your legs and your hamstrings. You probably feel it stretch in your low back a little bit. And at your pace, come up, shake it out. Congratulations on getting through another day. Have fun next week.